Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Bombers Blast, where I'm going to be taking your calls and hopefully having some fun. The last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, there's a lot of stuff people have been talking about. We'll try to cover those things. We're certainly not out any topics. Things that we can sort of queue up. We'll start with the coaches poll. That's something I know a lot of people have. They voiced concern about it yesterday. Is concern the right word, or is it just we're knowing this is the way it's going to be and we have to deal with them as they come up, right? Is that it? Or is it, hey, you know what, by the end of the year, who cares where we start at? It's where we end. Well, I'll tell you right now, and my opinion is that these preseason polls, even if we got rid of all of them before the fifth week of the season, say the first week of October, there's still going to be coloring how the votes are put out and what teams get promoted more in October. So the rankings matter now for us, the fans. They shouldn't dictate outcomes, but I know for a fact, being a BYU person and anybody who's even been paying attention out in the world, BYU got no run at the end of last season, and that was just criminal. And it was for no other reason than one, they started off the top 25, and two, because it wasn't politic to have them in the top 16. Now, I'll argue with anybody that says, well, it doesn't matter if it was 13, 14, 15, or 16. These rankings matter at some point. Intrinsically, they matter to people in their heads. They have preconceived notions, and I think the preseason polls just sort of get us down a road we shouldn't be going down. Anyway, so we'll talk about preseason poll first. The governance came out, was finally approved today, I believe, this morning. We can go through that if you guys want to talk about how that governance works. It is true that 65% of all voting power now resides with the A4 conferences. 65% or 65% is 1% less than 2/3. I don't know if 2/3 is a voting thing like it is in Congress. You have to have at least 60 votes, for instance. And 66 is 2/3. I don't know if that's going to make a difference when it comes to enacting policy and rules. But I do know this: the A4 is going to dictate outcomes. They're going to dictate where schools end up via consolidation. We're not using realignment here much more. If I have anything to do with it, it's all consolidation. And where we go down the road. So we could talk about that if you guys want to. Obviously, any of your ideas that pop up, I'm happy to discuss. I'll take your questions. We'll dive into anything I don't have already queued up. I'm happy to go to it. There's a Texas Tech post, actually two Texas Tech posts that we could go through that I think just prove that this next 5 to 6 years is a massive window for schools to step up to want to be noticed, especially if you're not already in the in the P2. If you're in the ACC or the Big Ten, if you're in the ACC or the Big 12, you need to get on radars. The A4 has control now, but what's to say they don't get frozen out with the P2 eventually, and you want to end up in something greater, whether that's through going to those two conferences or through some master schedule that puts everybody on the same plane. Eventually, there will be a winnowing, and not everybody's going to be playing top-tier football. It's just not the way it's going to happen, in my opinion. All this is opinion, right? I can't dictate the future, no matter how much I would prefer to. But that's something that obviously we could talk about. So Texas Tech, I would say anything that's Texas Tech could have BYU underwritten right underneath it, as far as doing everything they can to be noticed on NIL, on recruiting, getting out on ESPN and Fox when news hits that you're a school that's playing for the best players. Believe me, the SEC and the Big Ten are paying attention. And I want to say this greater idea in the public consciousness that, hey, they are spending the money they need to step up, to want to be included in whatever comes next. It may just be further consolidation. It may just be shrinking down, and there's even less schools, but nothing changes in the conferences. That could happen. We could have an expansion of the conferences that already exist. I think what's more likely is you'll end up with two, an A and an ACC, something else. So I'm going to answer this. I'm not sure who this is. Let's see.
Call from
Caden the Diesel Freak.
Caden, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, good evening, Nathan. My favorite BYU Cougars fan. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for starting us off tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, I had to start the show off right. I mean, come on, Nathan.
Let's
Who
go.
would you rather start off with a bang after banger after banger on the Collins Show featuring the greatest BYU or one of the greatest BYU fans, Nathan the Blue Bomber?
I appreciate that. Go ahead. You've got the
Well,
floor.
let's get down to the meat and potatoes, the business at hand.
Okay.
So you want teams to you want to ask teams to step up. Well, I have a few teams in mind that have been stepping up, and that is from the Big 12. Let's talk about BYU stepping up the game so far, which I got to give them credit. That's a good team right there.
Well, my question to you is, when does the perception become the reality? In other words, you're a Big Ten guy. And I really love the fact that you like all of college football, so you respect all the schools that are out there trying hard. Is it going to make a difference in 5 or 6 years? A school like Texas Tech or BYU going out and going the extra mile trying to get these recruits, is it going to make a difference?
In my honest opinion, Nathan, yes. Because there is a good chance. And this is the year that BYU can absolutely step up to the plate, go win the Big 12 title, and make it to the playoffs. And beat someone, say, Penn State, Clemson, Alabama, the whole 9 yards of anybody. And then they shocked the world, and guess what? The Big 12's representative BYU just beat 3 teams that were elite programs and whooped them in the playoffs. People are going to go nuts over it.
Well, I love that future.
I mean, look, TCU beat Michigan, and nobody thought TCU was going to beat Michigan in the playoffs.
Right.
Nobody. And they came out and blew them out of the water, and Harbaugh was so mad that he lost to a school that they were favored by 15.5 points over for.
Well, I think we found out that they were cheating, right? And TCU got the wink and the nod, and that's how they shut them down. So.
Well, and unfortunately, my local resident Michigan fan is my father, and he's been saying all over the internet that BYU is not making it to the playoffs. Y'all are going 8-4, and that y'all are no elite team. And I've told him on several occasions over the last year that you guys are an elite program. It's that Michigan is jealous that their title reign, that their supremacy is coming to a very bad halt because BYU is a team who's stepping up to the plate, unlike somebody like, I don't know, Michigan, Clemson, the whole 9 yards of those that, that don't deserve to be in the playoffs, that we know that there's a better chance. And I've said this to you on multiple occasions, Nathan. I have more respect for BYU fans than Michigan fans. I have more respect for BYU fans than Clemson fans. Clemson fans, don't get me started about them. They're annoying.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying that, but you know what? I love what you're saying. I agree with what you're putting out, communicating. I do think it's going to make a difference in the future. So hey man, you keep ginning for us. I appreciate it.
But you know what? Let's also get to this point, Nathan.
Go ahead.
BYU is one of the Big 12 teams favored to win the Big 12 title. And they're also favored to possibly make a good appearance in the college football playoffs this year, according to the AP rankings. Now, according to the AP rankings, since I actually personally made a phone call for the guys that did the AP rankings, I had them recheck their boundaries of bias crap.
Right.
I actually did, Nathan. And I told them that they should be careful because there's these teams coming out of the blue that actually have more passion than actually these certain programs to win a game. Because people say Ohio State and Georgia are two of the most invincible teams in the world of college football. Well, let's be honest. If I see a challenger in the national championship game, it's most likely either Georgia, Iowa State, BYU, or somebody on the likes of West Virginia. Now, my local resident Michigan fan here who has spat on your fan base, and yes,
Okay.
this guy has spat on your fan base.
Okay.
I've had to tell him a dozen times that he should never underestimate. He said to me the TCU loss was just uncalled for. I said, you know what was uncalled for? All your cheating shenanigans. And you know what? He never spoke for the next 2 days. And and if y'all don't know, BYU fans, Iowa State fans are some of the most beloved fan bases of the Big 12. And I will say this again, I have more respect for your guys' fan base than even this Michigan fan right over here, my father, who's a Michigan Wolverine fan.
Well,
and you know what? I'll tell you what, I'll leave it to you guys, but you guys can follow me on Twitter at Hollywood Caden, the final boss. I actually got something I'm going to be posting for you, Nathan, that I wanted you to maybe
let's go. Put
that I
it
wanted to
out
ask you
there.
about.
I'll comment on it tonight.
But also, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, but Georgia had John Gruden down there in Athens. What did you think about that?
I am not an Instagram person, so I have no idea. John Gruden right now, since he got fired from the NFL, is making twice as much money going out and doing these rally trips for universities. So he's selling his soul to be one of those guys. So,
but I'll say this: and from what I saw on Georgia's social media page, getting the guys ready to go for the season, reminding them about who the actual heck the Georgia Bulldogs are. You know, I got to thank Coach Gruden for that. You know, this is a guy who's trying to help this program remind them that they were just the most they were the indestructible team that went on a rampage for 3 years and didn't give an excuse to say why they beat the heck out of somebody for 60 minutes. And, you know, I got to thank Coach Gruden for that.
okay.
I got to thank Coach Gruden for that. So I'm going to leave it to you, Nathan, but I want to get off
appreciate
this
it,
phone line
Caden.
because I know there's going to be an angry Michigan fan calling in, and my dad's going to call in. But
I'd love to
does,
talk to have your dad call in sometime. I'd love to talk to him.
I will, and as always, go Bucks,
All
go
right.
Cougars.
We'll see
and
you
we'll see you in
later.
the playoffs.
Thank you so much, Caden. It's great to talk to you.
Go Bucks.
All right. Peace. I love it. That is awesome. I'm going to clap Caden out. Thank you so much, Caden. Caden's a loyal viewer. He usually gets the first or second call of every show, and I appreciate him joining. All opinions are accepted here, whether you agree with me or not, but it certainly is nice when somebody calls me Bomber or talks about BYU. So you want to make me happy, those are the two things. Or for that matter, talks about the Big 12. Let's get to some shout-outs. I turned off the calls. So if you're calling in, you're not getting through, it's on purpose. I want to do some shout outs. We have a super chat to start off the show. I didn't let everybody know. I appreciate you watching tonight. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Go to the College Football Mafia page on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. Comments and questions are very much appreciated. Try to answer as many of those as we can. Appreciate all the work that you guys out there do for us. The College Football Mafia family is growing, and as we get to the season, those memberships, we love the memberships when they come in because those new members all have access to the back end catalog of all of our recorded shows, all the member videos, realignment or not realignment, governance or not governance. We have all kinds of member shows in the library. You just have to be a member to watch them. So if you are sort of sweetheart tonight, you could buy somebody else a membership if you're already a member yourself, or you could do a super chat, and that helps us keep the lights on. Really, in a literal way. Mo and Ute and I, we all appreciate you guys helping us out when you do that. Let's do shout outs. Let's start off with Ryan Willie's first in the house with a super chat in the house. Ryan Willie, thank you so much. Ryan Willie's also a member of the College Football Mafia family. $5 super chat. Do the Big 12 fans that hate the Big 10 still believe they'll get a fair share of teams in the CFP? This evil badger doesn't think that will happen. Well, you know where I'm at with that, Ryan. I think a majority of Big 12 fans do believe eventually the numbers will turn and the Big 12 will get at least 2, if not 3 teams in every year. With 12 teams, in this humble opinion, I think that's probably not going to happen very often. If we go to 16 teams, maybe it adds a little bit of a percentage more that will happen, but I still don't think it's great. I think 4-4-2-2 is dead, Ryan, and I haven't talked about it for a while because I'm tired of the 4-4-2-2 5-11 crap. But I just don't think that's going to fly. I'm more likely to see a 2-2-2-2 or I don't know, some other imaginative way to get teams. 4-4-3-3 would work. 3-3-2-2 I think would pass. But I don't think 4-4-2-2 has enough energy behind it to complete the circle. Now, that could change. The SEC tomorrow could come out and say we'll play a ninth game. It'll be game over, and everybody can project that future. I just don't know that we get there right now. Maybe as we get closer to December, when the college football playoff negotiation has to be summed up, unless they do an extension. It's their own club for that matter. They could extend it to next year. But those negotiations really dictate what the next steps of either consolidation or a new football division, something that's different could happen. So thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. It's great to see you. Daniel Gygax in the house saying we also have the NBC sublicensing Big 12 content from Fox. Yep, we'll try to get to that. If you don't know what that is, ESPN Plus or ESPN is sublicensed 20 basketball games to NBC Peacock and Fox. So NBC Peacock's going to carry some basketball games. Fox is going to carry some basketball games. And that, I think, can only help the Big 12. I don't even care if they're on Peacock only. Anything's better than ESPN Plus, in my opinion. Caden says, hello, Nathan. Go Buckeyes, and let's get college football season underway. Boy, you're preaching to the choir there. I could not agree more. Jay Chapman representing the SEC. Just so everybody knows, tomorrow night we're doing our college football mafia group SEC breakdown. We've all gone through and done our own picks in Discord. My team has. We're going to consolidate those, come up with our own votes, and then we're going to invite everybody to get involved. We will have a couple of secret guests going to be joining us tomorrow for that SEC show. So we invite everybody to tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we're doing our SEC preview. Jay Chapman says no SEC expansion without North Carolina. Well, there you go. There's an SEC guy that is died and true and selling out to the UNC Tar Heels. BYU football. That's Shonsky. Good to have you here, Shonsky, saying let's go. Good to have you. Steele Austin representing the University of Utah in the house. Hey, Steele, did you see that article? I did repost it on Twitter. If you just got home, you might not have seen it. There's a report on KSL that the state of Utah or University of Utah is shutting down like a bunch of programs and sports. Do you know anything about that? If you do know something about that, you want to come on the show and talk about it, send me a DM in Twitter. I'll see it. It'll pop up, and you can come on and let's talk about it because I don't quite understand what's going on there. How does the state shut down sports at the university? I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood the article. So I need a Utah. I asked you to look at it too. So you don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's great to see you though. Hey all. Skaven, yes. Go Big Red. Evening, gentlemen. Good to have you here, Skaven. Yes. That's Nebraska if you don't know everybody. If you can't tell, Skaven Yes is an OG College Football Mafia family member. Moen After Dark. Partner in crime here at the College Football Mafia. Moen was second. Okay, Moen. I'll give that to you. Timothy Green says, valuable member of the College Football Mafia family out there representing the Big 12 Conference in West Virginia. Bomber, let's get ready for another great show. Folks, please hit that like button. Let's see. Like button, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you all so much. I'm not sure what Moen's not here. I don't know what sheriff means there, Timothy, but I think everybody knows the spirit of what you're saying. It's great to see you. And he also says, let's go Mountaineers, obviously. Stephen Vitt checking in. Ohio Bobcats. What's going on with Maction? Stephen Vitt. You guys can't be very confident about your conference right now. I know Maction is loved by people in the Northeast. Is it going to survive? Well, no one thinks so. So I hope so. Is it possible for viewers to join the studio for one of your Blitz shows, Bomber? Absolutely. If you would like to come on the show with me, I'm always talking and inviting people. If you want to just send me a DM, or even I'll try to flag a comment. My problem is while I'm doing a show by myself, Stephen, just so you know, if you're not on Twitter, I can't always catch everybody's comments. So make it a cheap super chat. I know money, it might be a thing for you, just so it stands out. And if you want to do that, I'm happy to set it up with you. But send me a Twitter message, or at B12 Mafia, and I'll set it up. I'd love to have you on. Absolutely. If you want to do that, or you know somebody who would be good, let's do it. I'm all for it. I don't run from anybody. Lee checking in saying, hey, fam. Good to see you, Lee. Great to have you in the house. Bob Swinger, that would be the Penn State Nittany Lions. Good evening, College Football Mafia. Good to have you here. Great to see you, Bob. Bob is also a valuable OG member at this point of the College Football Mafia family, and very much appreciated. Close to my heart. Are there any new people? There are a few. Sky checking in. Good to see you, Sky. I think, well, I don't want to guess. No Sunbelt expansion without Ohio Bobcats. There you go. So Stephen Vitt, looks like Ohio Bobcats are wanted by the Sunbelt Conference. I think that could be cool. I think the Sunbelt Conference is in a great spot. They could, really hurt the MAC if they wanted to. I think they're setting up to be maybe the replacement for when the ACC is rated by the ACC. AAC is rated by, let me do this again. The AAC is rated by the ACC. Once the top brands leave that conference, they will bring in brands from the AAC. Sunbelt could be right there ready to pounce if they're prepared. They might be able to stick around. It could be interesting. Locked on Oklahoma State. What are you doing, Cody? It's good to see you. I haven't seen my invitation for your show, for your preseason run-up. What's going on with that? If I ever grow up, I'm going to be like Bomber someday. You're close to my heart. Close to my heart. It's good to see you, Cody. I hope you and your family are doing well. Hope your son's doing well. We haven't talked for a bit. We should do that. Jason Spangler, representing Kansas Jayhawks in the house, saying, what up, y'all? Jason's a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Let's see. I'm going to mark that one for later. Trying to get to any. Oh, Joseph Kerlegan. Great name, Joseph Kerlegan. I want to know how all of this conference realignment will affect both the coaches poll and the AP poll in the end of the season. Please have more conference realignment soon. Well, for one thing, conference realignment, I'm now calling consolidation, it never sleeps. Joseph, you know that. You've been around here enough. I think getting closer to the season will probably go on hiatus for a bit. Everybody wants to watch football, but the news will continue to go. CFP negotiation could be affected by consolidation / realignment. But certainly once we get to the playoff time in December and then into January, the calendar will speed up again. So it will eventually come back. Right now, we're trying to get away from it. I wasn't going to do anything that well placed. Certainly not talking about realignment at all. I've been out of it for a month or more until a great friend and mentor of my own, Jim Williams, joined Twitter last week. Joined back to Twitter last week and started talking about ACC backfill, Notre Dame, and all that. It sort of sucked me back in. I'm trying to pull out of that now and let it sleep again. Let the people who want to cycle on that go ahead and cycle. But I've done my business, and I think I'm going to be piecing out of that pretty soon here. Let's see if I missed any other initial shout outs. I don't want to miss anybody that might have joined the show. Sky, MBM, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Good to have you here, MBM. At Sky, there we go. I love it. MBM, Sunbelt resets in fertile recruiting grounds. Well, there you go. NBM talking some cryptic there. I think that could be cool. I love the Sun Belt Conference. It's really a rocking conference. They're doing everything they can to stay relevant, and I absolutely love that. Joe Z, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, been around here probably since the beginning. It's great to see you, Joe. Yes, it's phase 3 consolidation. Yep. I love that. I'm going to steal that. Phase 3 consolidation. I'm stealing that. So let me go back and make sure I give Joe Z proper. So when I say that in the future, Joe, I might not remember who said it. My memory's not the greatest, but definitely phase 3 consolidation. That's yours. I will use that. I'll steal it from you if it were. So if you hear me talking about it, it should warm your heart because I'm talking about what you said because I think that's right. It is phase 3. Jay Chapman says DG with thumbs up. All right. I am going to open up. I'm going to open up the phone calls and then I'm going to bring up, if I can do this, let's see. Or open up the phone lines. I need to be able to, how do I do this? Wait a second. Let's do this because I can't remember how to switch back and forth. Remember, I had that problem the other day where I tuned out somebody. I didn't mean to do that at the time. If you want to join the show, you can make it a super chat, and I read all super chats or new members. All those get read. There's no doubt about it. And then I will try to get to comments as they pop up. There you go, Josie. Tip of the hat for you, brother. But it's tough when I'm running this solo. So if and I don't know if you're out there, Daniel, you can flag comments, can't you? Or maybe you can't do that. I thought you could. If Daniel's watching or Moen's watching, if you guys want to flag comments, that would be helpful. You don't have to come on the show to do it. One more comment, and then I'm going to do the top 30 college football. And then I grabbed the wrong freaking thing. I am so sorry. What did I do? Here it is. Wow, I almost picked the wrong thing. Devil Frog, the OG of OGs when it comes to the Mafia. Devil Frog's now become a valuable, super valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. If a preseason unranked Big 12 team wins the conference, then we should insist that talking heads for the national media eat crow and admit they don't know college football. It could happen again, Devil Frog. You and I are on the same page. Even somebody at the bottom end of the coaches poll, if they win, you can say the same thing. They don't know what they're talking about. The teams that they put up at the front every year, invariably, they're going to end up wrong. We're a couple of years, if not 3 years away from maybe some dominant brands working their way through the Big 12, top 5, 6, 7 that are in it annually every year. Until that happens, I think the pundits are going to be put on their asses every single time. Anyway, you can't flag when you're not logged in. Oh, okay. All right, Daniel, that's okay. I appreciate you. Thanks for trying anyway. Okay, let me get to the top 25, and then I'll open up the phone lines, and then we can talk about that. Let me bring this up here. Let's go. How do I do this? Here we go. Okay, probably this is better. All right, let's get the comment off. There we go. Here's the top 25 coaches poll, okay, right? The coaches poll always comes out before the AP poll. AP poll, I believe, comes out next week. And it's getting to a point now where the first 10, I'm going to say 10 teams every year are going to be baked in. We're not far away from the top 10 being recycled every year. We're not far away from that. In fact, the minute that Miami, Florida State, and Clemson move to the P2, and might as well, people in the Big 12 get afraid of this. They don't want to talk about it. They might as well talk about it like it's fait accompli. It's going to happen. So let's start planning for when that happens, okay? So when that happens, and Miami, Florida State, and Clemson are picked out, they will be represented in this top 10 in both polls every year. Every year, you're going to see P2 schools in those two conferences. Unless the Big 12 can put somebody in the playoff 3 years in a row. Then they might start getting picked at 7, 8, 9. Heaven forbid 10, right? In my opinion, that's what it's going to take to break through. It's going to have to be repetition of success. Arizona State, go out and win this year. If Arizona State repeats, goes out and wins, next year they'll probably start in the top 10 if they win a game in the playoff. That would be great for Arizona State. In this coaches poll, let's talk about it. Top 10, I'm not going to discuss it all. You can shift those teams all the way around. It doesn't really matter where they started. Let's talk from 11 down. Okay. Arizona State. Anybody disagree? I think it's easy to take them first. They won the Big 12 last year. They have a returning, competing for the Heisman quarterback. Yeah, sure. What the hell? Illinois. I don't know. Does Illinois replace Indiana this year? I don't think you have an Indiana and an Illinois that are going to be in the top 25 all year round. It's going to be one of those two schools. South Carolina, I think South Carolina could easily be in the top 5. They may be the best team in the Southeastern Conference. They just have to put it all together. So I love South Carolina. Michigan, it's Michigan. They're a blue blood. They have a $30 million plus roster. I think you got to give it to them. Ole Miss is in my top 5. Just so everybody knows, Ole Miss is in my top 5. I think Ole Miss, this might be the year for Lane Kiffin. Maybe. Very well could be for Lane Kiffin. SMU. Notice I didn't say SMU for the brands that are going to go to the P2. SMU is not going to catch that wave, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Don't think I am, but I think SMU is going to be fighting for the same sort of access that the Big 12 schools are going to be. They're 1 year away from me saying they're pretty much equal. They have to do 3 years in a row, really, for everybody to pay attention. I'm going to say that for any school that isn't in the P2 at the top of the P2. So that means BYU. That means Arizona State. That means Kansas State. That means Texas Tech. That everybody that wants to compete for those spots, 3 years, 2 years isn't going to be enough. It's going to take a third year, and then you could potentially talk about you as being perennial, and now you can stay in that, let's just say, top 15 every year at the beginning, not necessarily at the end. Florida played well at the end of the season. Which Florida are we going to get? The one that started off the last 2 years or the one that finished last year? They're an SEC school. They have one of the worst schedules in all of college football. This is a top 25. I should have said this at the beginning of the show. We are talking about a top 25 today. At the end of the season, I don't think Florida – I don't think they're going to be in the top 12. Let's just say that. I think Florida will be somewhere in the teens if they lose 3-4 games. But we'll have to see. Tennessee, I think, is overrated. Yep, I said it. Hate me, Tennessee people. I love the Southeastern Conference. Tons of respect for a ton of those schools. Tennessee, man, I remember Tennessee when they were just the biggest, baddest. I don't think they're there yet. If Nico would have stayed, we'd be having a different conversation. Indiana, I just talked about with Illinois. Kansas State, I think, has the potential to be very, very good this year if their quarterback can step up. He had flashes last year. I don't know. I still have questions. I have questions about Leavitt, though, too. I think the Big 12 has a bunch of good quarterbacks, but I think there's a bunch of question marks. Texas A&M. Is this the annual? Where's Missouri on here? Okay, Missouri didn't make this. Who wants to bet me right now that Missouri is on the AP top 25? Anybody want to bet me? I'm watching live stream. Anybody want to take that bet? I'm just teasing. Missouri always makes it in to one of the polls. It's usually the AP poll. Anyways, Texas A&M, whatever. Texas A&M has to win more than 8 games to be in any conversation. Iowa State, BYU, Texas Tech, Boise State. Did Boise State get robbed here? I think if you're a Boise State fan, you could argue, yeah, we got screwed, right? We were in the playoff. Yeah, we got boat raced by Penn State. We were with them for a little while. 25? I got to be honest. Well, everybody knows I like Boise State. Always have. Ton of respect. They've gone out and done the things they need to be successful. I really think that Boise State probably should be higher in this poll. That's all I'm going to say. What ranking? I don't know, because I just told you anyone below 10, you could swat any one of them, and I think that you could make an argument they're going to be better. I will tell you this: if BYU had kept Retzlaff, and this is ironic, if you're not a BYU fan, frankly, if you've been around this channel, everybody knows my feelings on this. But Jake Retzlaff is a good quarterback. He's never been a great quarterback, and I don't think he ever will be a great quarterback. Don't listen to Ute fans who are trying to say that BYU fans were saying Jake Retzlaff was going to win the Heisman. That never happened. It never happened. If it did, it came from people who don't have any idea about college football. He had less than 65% completion percentage and basically a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That is barely above average. He did have a couple games where he made a couple throws, but he also lost. I saw 3 games in person that he lost because he just doesn't know how to throw a fade, and he doesn't know how to read defenses. So, Tulane, good luck. I want Jake to do well. I'm cheering for Jake Retzlaff, but he has a ceiling. So, BYU would have been higher in this poll if he stuck around. That's ironic because I think we could end up even higher if we go out and win the first 3 weeks, including that travel to East Carolina in September. BYU travels to East Carolina. If BYU plays well in the first 3 games, beats Stanford and beats East Carolina, come home, and then they win their first real home game, I think BYU could be in for a special season. They do have a 4-game stretch that's extremely difficult, but the rest of the schedule, anyway. So Texas Tech, everybody knows where I feel I love Texas Tech. I love what they're doing. Them and BYU have put down their stake in the ground and said, with intent, I am going to stay involved. They're not going to let anybody screw them around. So I really appreciate Texas Tech. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the phone lines. Let me move this back, share this tab. That way I don't miss it again. I'm going to open up the phone lines. If you want to talk about this poll, let's start with the poll, okay? Or for that matter, there's no rules. Anything you call in about, we will talk about. It doesn't have to be the college. It doesn't have to be the coaches poll. But the line is now open, 801-899-6203. Call me right now, and we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. The first part of the show I want to spend on coaches poll. But if you have other stuff you want to talk about, I can certainly pull up other things. While we're doing that, I'm going to jump in and see if we've gotten any other super chats, any other bonus taps that I want to pull up. Tonight, it's probably going to be mostly member comments that I'm going to be grabbing. I'll grab a few regular ones, but member comments I defer to, and then I always read super chats if we go from there. So call in. I don't want to talk all night, so please join the show and tell me where I'm wrong. Please. I love when I'm wrong. 801-899-6203. Call in now. Okay. While we're doing that, we go obviously to comments. MBM says, I'm hearing that Mountain West fan bases despise Utah State fans the most. What is in the water in Utah? Well, boy, I could tell stories, MBM. That's funny. Do they hate them? I hadn't heard that. Does it surprise me, though? No, it does not. And it's because they are the most grateful to be in the Pac-12. They want to be considered with the tip of the top, and they're new to it. They're just trying to be more, and they can be obnoxious. I totally get it. If you sell out with your obnoxiousness and you're like it all the time, people eventually will get used to it. It's taken 3 years, but I think the Big 12 finally appreciates BYU. So it'll take some time with Utah State, unless Utah State just stays annoying. Then I got nothing for you. There's nothing I can Logan's a beautiful town. I'll say that. Good to have you, MVM. Jay Chapman again. I believe the ACC will go the way of the Pac-12. When all is said and done, the Big 12 will be the legit third power conference. Jay, I agree with you. I think that's where we end up. If we don't go to a Supra conference, which I'm not going to talk about right now, you guys have heard me talk about it. If we don't go to another sort of iteration of what college football is, I think three conferences, 20 schools a conference, and then you have some remainder that are also included. This would include independent Notre Dame plus, I don't know, pick the best of the G6 and build a sort of a fourth conference. Or maybe it's the Rump ACC and they bring in the Pac-2 plus Boise State. I don't know. Maybe, because San Diego State, did they get in there? These are all questions I just don't have answers for. But, I could easily see the future where that's exactly right, Jay. We'll have to see. Time will tell. Big Lubbock, what did I miss? Come on, man. You're here 41 minutes in, Lubbock. Nothing. I hope you heard me. I was just talking good about Texas Tech. Hope you heard that. Nobody wants to call in and talk about the coaches poll, huh? I thought the coaches poll had some interesting stuff in it that people might want to be talking about. Maybe I'll move on to the Texas Tech story stuff. Sky, did you see the article from The Athletic last week that ranked the value of all P4 football teams? I did see that. You should know, Sky, that part of the problem with these valuations that you'll get from The Atlantic or you get from Wall Street Journal, USA Today does one. There's 4 or 5 of those that are out there. Two things you need to keep in mind. Private schools generally don't share all of their financial information, so you're never going to get everything from a Notre Dame, an SMU, or a BYU. So how valuable is the list? And then you also have to take into consideration at what state are these schools being paid by their media contracts. I believe Oregon and Washington are still at a half value for the Big Ten. I believe all the schools in the Big 12 are on the same level now. Obviously, everything's upside down in the ACC. The ACC is the most bastardized conference in the world. So and the SEC, I think everybody's the same. So those valuations, I think they have value, but they can be gamed. How you report your numbers also can make a difference. If you follow JJ Fuller on X, Jeff Fuller has put out a comparative analysis, I believe. If I get it wrong, and Jeff has corrected me in the past, I hope I get this right. He's tried to explain how you report those numbers and how they can skew sort of what they look like. He's a BYU guy, so of course he used Utah as an exemplar for that. I said they reported something like 75 or 80% of their money came from football or went to football or something like that. That made it look like it was this inflated value. I don't know. I'm not a numbers guy. That's not my deal. Ute is, Jeff Fuller is. I lean on those guys for what those numbers mean. I would just caution you that what you see on those, not all reports are equal. There's not one report that 100% covers everybody. Let me say it that way. There isn't one report. The private schools won't.
Call from
Daniel.
Daniel, what is going on, brother?
I'm proud that we've got 5 of the Big 12 teams in the top 25.
Yeah.
Yes, you got 3 of them below 20, but that's still pretty good.
It's better than last year.
Yeah, last year I think that they started with 3.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. The other thing is the NBC deal. So now you're going to have Big 12 athletics on ESPN and their family.
Yep.
Fox.
Yep.
TNT, CBS, and now NBC.
Yeah.
NBC and Peacock.
That's a lot of subscriptions that I'm going to end up having to buy.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Yes, you are right. I think it's only going to get worse too. In 5 or 6 years, we're going to end up, everybody's going to have Amazon Prime, Apple, and,
Yeah.
maybe Fox finally builds a for-profit channel. Who knows?
True, but I just think that it's interesting that they've sub-licensed so much Big 12 content, and you're like, okay, is there a bigger game plan on this? Because usually on a sub-license, you're not getting really paid any more than what you have, what you're getting.
No, yeah, they won't get any more money. It's about opening up exposure and creating new partners. It's about the relationships now, right?
Yes, and now the Big 12 is partners with 5 of the largest media distribution companies that you have in the world.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that, Daniel. I guess at the end of the day, the Big 12 is doing what they can to stay relevant. And at the end of the day, I don't know, we haven't really talked about this for a while, but we have talked about it in the past. Who ends up being the main partner in 29, 30, 31, whenever they're able to renegotiate it. By the way, people don't know, but Brett Yormark is a deal maker. He could easily renegotiate the Big 12 deal anytime if he had something to give to the media partners to make it worth it. It doesn't have to wait till 29, 30, 31.
Well, you got to think of it this way. They did the original deal didn't include Colorado, Utah, Arizona State. So they might be able to go and say, hey, can we get a little bit more?
Well, or those, we brought those on. Plus, hey, everybody knows the ACC is going to at least have some on offer, even if they don't eventually move.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, I think you're spot on. Let me ask you one question. When it comes to the Big 12, how hard is it going to be if you're not on this Coach's Top 25? The AP is going to be even harder. I think the AP is going to drop one of those Big 12 schools completely off the list. They're going to end up with 4 in the AP poll. That's just me guessing. If that happens, how hard is it going to be to get into that 12? And how hard is the climb going to be this year for the Big 12 to get 2 teams in?
Fairly difficult. It's going to be fairly difficult anyway, just due to the fact that you've got SEC bias.
Sure.
But usually you'll always see 1 or 2 teams at the beginning of the year unranked, and they'll make it up into the top 15.
Right.
You see it every year. And then you'll have a couple of teams, they'll be in the top, like Florida State last year. I can't remember what they started the season ranked. And
was it
they
just 9 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat will correct me on it, but I thought it was like 5 or 6.
Oh, I didn't think it was that high. It might be. You might be right. I just don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember either. But yeah, you bring up a good point. That's that.
So, like I said, the biggest thing is just overcoming the bias.
Yeah, I agree.
And it happens every year.
Completely agree with you, Daniel. Thank you so much. So we're going to be doing our SEC.
Tomorrow.
If I don't know, it's going to be tough because we got 2 guests. Samoan's going to be around, but if you're somewhere waiting in the wings, we might be able to bring you in for a bit. If
no problem. I've got nothing planned tomorrow.
Okay, well, make sure you're available and watch the show. If I got time, I'll bring you in.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Daniel Gygax. We'll see you later, brother. Thank you so much. Love Daniel. Really good take. See what Daniel, if you don't know Daniel Gygax, member of the tribe around here, College Football Mafia Family's contributor. And we really appreciate him representing the great state of West Virginia and the West Virginia Mountaineers. All right, so Join the show right now. Call in. I'll go to more comments, but let's get to the phone number. If you want to talk, call right now, 801-899-6203. Love to talk to you about anything. Doesn't have to be the coaches poll. It could be anything else. Just call in right now and let's talk. Let's go. Let's do a reverse lookup. I've been marking comments here. Again, if you're new to the channel, just got here, make sure you go over to the College Football Mafia page on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Do us a favor. We have been going up and up and up. We're trying to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the summer. We're very, very close. So if you're watching right now, and from what I see, there are roughly 100 people watching on YouTube right now. Jump over on X, do us a favor, and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Okay? Sorry, I didn't say that right. If you're one of the 50 or 60 on X that are watching, jump over to YouTube, College Football Mafia, type it in, hit subscribe, and while you're there, give us a thumbs up and let us know how we're doing. We do try to involve our viewers, smartest viewers on all of social media. That's all I got to say. Let's see here. All right, let's see. All right, we'll work backwards with new comments. Argra, good to see you, Argra. Just got in. Was Tennessee being ranked so high already? Talked about. What a joke. Yes, Argra, that's funny. You did just get here. I don't know if you heard me, but I just got done dissing on Tennessee. Yes. Yeah, I talked about it, but if you want to talk about it more, being a Penn State guy, if you want to talk about how you guys beat down Tennessee, give me a call. You know the number. I'm here to talk if you want to talk. We'll go back. More comments. MBM says, and yes, Utah warned us about BYU, but it ended up being Utah that the Big 12 despises. That's an Oklahoma State guy saying that. That's not a BYU guy saying that. Justin R. in the house. Good to see you, Justin R. Representing the University of Southern Florida Bulls. Good to have you here. Fox is building a standalone subscription base channel called Fox One. It will be $19.99 a month and will start in August the 21st. Is that true? Or are you trolling me there, Justin? I don't remember seeing that in the news. Did I miss something, everybody? Do you have a Justin, can you go on Twitter, send me a DM with the source for that? I don't know anything about this premium channel. That's news to me. If it is true, I'm going to absolutely hit Bob Thompson up about it because he didn't mention it to me. So anyway, it's good to have you here, Justin. Thanks for showing up tonight. Steel Austin, see? I take all sides, all sides of the argument. Fuller didn't prove anything. He just didn't like that Utah showed up number 29 and BYU was 50th. Put those in captions there, Steele. Next year, that's not going to be the case because BYU's going up, what? Another 15, 16 million in valuation. And now all of a sudden Utah's 29 isn't going to look so big. And that's not even reporting all the numbers that BYU makes. But whatever, I understand what you're saying. I get it. I get the argument. Jeff did lay out some pretty clear reporting things, though. I will say that. I'll find the tweet after this. I'll take Jeff's and I'll tweet. Don't listen to me. Take it from Jeff Fuller. He's the source on that. Like it, don't like it, but it's really his story, not mine. Devil Frog. If preseason unranked Big 12 team wins the conference, then we should insist that talking heads in national media eat crow and admit they don't know college football. Just talked about that. That is true. Let's see here. Tony Lawson in the house. Good to see you, Tony. Illinois plays Indiana on September 20th. Big Ten early game. Yep. Or big game in the Big Ten early. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, I agree. Whoever wins that game is pretty much going to kick the other one out of the top 25 if they're undefeated to that point. And that team probably will not be climbing back in unless they do some major upsets during their season. So that is a big game in the Big Ten. We'll have to make sure we cover that. Moen or Daniel, if you're watching this, make a note of that. Make sure we make that one of the games of the week when we do our picks. Let's see here. Kenneth Maynard. Good to see you, Kenneth. It's been a minute. It's good to see you in the house. Kenneth Maynard is a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. I could argue Louisville is the top 25 team, maybe 23 to 25. I agree with you, Kenneth. I would kick Tennessee out and I would put Louisville in like that. Easy could do that. I think Louisville is a sneaky good team this year. I don't know. I didn't look at their schedule, but what they have coming back, I think Louisville could surprise some people. So I agree with you, Kenneth. Let's kick out Tennessee and bring in Louisville. I'm okay with that. It's good to see you here tonight. If you want to join the show, call me right now, 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. Join the show right now and let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'll take a couple more comments here and then I'm going to get to the next story. Let's see here. Tempest, Stormy is going to hate me, but I'm surprised to see Iowa State on there. Stormy Cyclone here? Yeah, I don't know. I think they've been in enough years. I think you kind of have to give them the deferred one of the teams that gets in with the Big 12 until somebody replaces them consistently. Iowa State gets one of those top 25, top 30 slots every year because they've been so consistently good. Haven't been elite. Nobody's saying Iowa State's been elite, but they have been good enough to be there for representing the Big 12. Teams that are looking to supplant them, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, go down the list. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's that right now. I think Iowa State deserves to be there. Chris G, good to see you, Chris. It's also been a minute since I've seen you too. Chris G is a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, "Hey, Bomber, good to see you, man. Appreciate you showing up tonight." Let's see here. Trying to get to as many of these as I can. Big Lubbock, one more comment. Bomber, what Devil Frog says is correct. BYU is appreciated. It is TCU that is not appreciated. That's funny. That's funny. that's a Big 12 shot at a Big 12 shot. Okay. You get to say that. I'm not saying that. But I appreciate everybody in the Big 12 right now. One thing you can't say about Big 12 schools is that they're not trying. Every school in the Big 12 is trying. I could make arguments that there's a lot of schools in the in the ACC. I'm not going to name them, but there's a few schools in the ACC that you could say are kind of floating, taking the scraps that they're given. Anyway, here's a guy who might know what those scraps are. That'd be Rock and Rant, contributor extraordinaire, somebody who has his own channel, College Football Express. You guys go on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, follow it on Twitter, and then follow Rock and Rant on Twitter as well. Good to see you, Rock. Member for 18 months. That's as long as he's been helping us around here. And I, for one, really appreciate him. So are we saying that the college football coaches or their designated filler in all decided to help prop up the SEC propaganda as well? I don't know where to take it. Maybe, Rock. All I know is Miami being in the top 10, there's not a question there. Clemson being in the top 10, there's not a question there. I think everybody else is going to have to find their way. And you may or may not agree with that. If you're not doing anything, call in. Let's talk for a minute. I'd love to talk to you. It's great to see you. Appreciate your comment. Thanks for being here tonight. Call in right now, live, 801-899-6203. Join me, and let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm going to keep marking and reading comments. Justin R., I see Big 12 basketball signed a deal with NBC Sports. We were just talking about that with Daniel a little bit ago. So Big 12 basketball could have games on 8 different platforms this season. Yeah, I think that's too many. If you're to be perfectly frank, for me to be perfectly frank, I think that's way too much. Because people aren't going to know where to go to find games. It's nice you have other partners, but that's way too many. I think what you're seeing here is that everybody wants off ESPN Plus. That's what this means. Is everybody is going to go to ESPN and say, "Hey, you get your money. We want freedom. Let us out. If we find a partner, you move our games to represent our conference?" Because I just ESPN Plus is just bad. Everybody. I don't know. If you like ESPN Plus, call in right now. Explain to me why you like it. The only reason I can think why somebody might like it is they say they could get it pretty much everywhere. That may or may not be true. Big 12 games have been have been blocked for some reason in the past. I hate it. I hate it for football. I'd rather be on TNT, TBS, and build that up. TNT, TBS, that would be HBO Max. I'd love HBO Max to be the place because then I have HBO. All I have to do is go to HBO and I can pick any game I want. And now I know. I wish that was the home that we were at. I think that would be a fantastic deal, but it's not this deal. So we have to deal with it the way it is. Justin, great pickup though. You're right. Those are the details for sure. Let's see here. Kenneth Maynard. I wish there was no polls until week 2 or 3. Yeah, I think week 5, if we're going to start in August now, week 5 would be the first week in October. First full weekend in October is when I would prefer we see the first polls. But yeah, I get you. To get a fair sense of who's actually on the field, good. Yeah, the reason I say October, the first 4 or 5 weeks of playing, usually there's a bye week in there now. Let me get a drink here. Sorry. You can tell my mouth is starting to get white spots. My mouth dries out. What was I just talking about? The polls being the first 3 or 4 weeks, you have nothing but out-of-conference games for the most part. Games with schools that aren't going to affect your conference standing. In my opinion, those are the ones that you want to get past before you actually start seeing people ranked. And maybe we'll get there. We're not there yet, but it'd be great if we could get there sooner than later. But Kenneth, you had that right. Exactly. Joseph Kerlegan, I want Boise State to buy out FCS opponent of a power conference school. I believe this would be the only way Boise State could rise in both the AP and coaches poll. Yeah, Boise State's in a every year Boise State's going to be in a tough spot. Regardless of where they start, they're always going to be in a tough spot. I'm not missing anything here, right? If you're calling and I'm not picking it up, I apologize. I didn't see any calls. I hope I didn't miss any anyway. It's going to be, everybody's going to have to do the Boise thing, go undefeated in your conference, and have 1 or 2 elite games every year. A Notre Dame, an Ohio State, Oregon, they're going to have to play bigger teams to get that. And I hate to say it, but the good loss really helped them last year with Oregon. Kept them in the high in the top 25, got them the 3rd seed in the playoff. So, it works. I just asking a team to go undefeated in today's football is a lot. It's very, very difficult to do. And by the way, Boise State's not the only one that has to do the same thing. The teams that are at the very, very top of the Big 12 and the ACC have to fight the same thing. I would say the Pac-12, all the Pac-12. If you want to get into the CFP, you're going to have to be undefeated, 11-1, win your conference, be 12-1, and be get that pick. Any of the G6 conferences. Washington State and Oregon State got screwed. Everybody knows I believe that, so we don't need to talk about that anymore. All right, let's do a quick reset. We're an hour in. I am taking calls tonight, 801-899-6203. Call in, and I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, the College Football Mafia channel on YouTube. If you're on X, do me a favor, jump over on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button on the College Football Mafia page. You don't have to watch me on YouTube, but the subscribe would really help. We're pushing to 5,000 subs. Daniel, if you're still watching, what's our current tally on memberships? That'd be great to know. I should start announcing that every show. We appreciate everybody being here tonight. If you want to talk about anything, we just did the coaches poll, top 25. I'm going to move on to some Texas Tech stuff next. Call in right now, 801-899-6203. Okay. Let me get to my next Texas Tech. Which should I do first? All right, I like this one. This is going to piss a lot of people off, but this is the one that happened today. I believe it's today. I will share the link, and everybody, unless you're a Texas Tech or a BYU or an SMU, you're not going to like this very much. This very much. I'm going to post this link to the Twitter post, and it was done by Rivals of all things. I haven't been a Rivals fan generally, but let me bring this up so everybody can see it. I posted the link to this so everybody has it. They can go to it right now. But this is a Rivals post, and it says Texas Tech General Manager James Blanchard on underpaid elite recruits. So these are recruits that have either not signed because they can't actually join a school. They can't sign to join a school for the next year until December. So even though players have announced, you have all these announcements, people go on, First Take or, other ESPN or Fox or anything else, Josh Pate, whatever, and announce their commitments. They're really not committed until December when they sign their letters of access or whatever. They used to be letters of intent. I don't know if they call that anymore. But this is what he's saying. If you're not paying those players, whatever the original deal is, those players are still going to be on the block, as it were. The quote is, if somebody is underpaying an elite guy, only paying him 100 to 200,000. So an elite guy, he didn't say even what position. He just said any elite guy. You're only paying him 100 or 200K. I'm going to give him 3 or 400K and go and steal somebody. No, I haven't seen anybody. Nobody's freaking out. Nobody's filling up my phone lines. So maybe this isn't such a big deal. If you're a Miami fan, if you're Ohio State, you're Michigan, if you're a fan of schools that have spent money for players, retention money. I'm not talking about giving them $50,000 to keep their commitment. I'm talking about $500,000 to keep a 4 or 5 star. Texas Tech General Manager James Blanchard says they're underpaid. He's on, and this is what's remarkable. He's on the record here, everybody. This isn't stuff that's coming in from third parties. It's not being reported by some guy in a dark closet somewhere. This is out on Twitter, reported by Rivals. He's saying, look, if you're underpaid, I'm going to come get you. If I find out that you're unhappy with what you were given, and let's talk about that for a second. If you're a high school 4-star and your buddy that you're on Twitter with or Instagram or something sends you a message that says, dude, I just got an extra 200,000 to switch to Texas Tech. Do you think that's going to turn the eye or the head of a high school senior? I'm going to tell you right now, it absolutely is. It will change dynamics at these schools. There's no doubt about it. And if you're a school that isn't going to play in this arena, and again, I'm not going to name names, but that's a mean way to say it. The easiest way to say it so everybody understands, if your school is outwardly poor, I'm not saying they're poor because they have huge endowments and they have other things, but if your sports program isn't overt, that they're out spending NIL money to get the best players, like a lot of the schools I've since mentioned, they're going to get left behind. And you need to be going to your boosters and you need to be going to your administration and saying, what else can we do? What can we sell the family jewels? Can we put in executive seat licenses and put in all these blocks that cuts out seating for me? I couldn't get a season ticket this year. They sold out like that at BYU. At basketball, they were out before I even snapped my finger. And that's because they're spending money to be good, and they're going to be good. So how do you guys feel about this quote? Nobody's calling. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. 801-899-6203. 170 people watching. Nobody wants to talk about this. I am absolutely shocked. Nobody wants to talk about this at all. It is I'm crazy. Crazy. All right. Well, I'll just keep going to comments. Yeah, no, I didn't miss a call. If you called in, just call back. I'm not sure what happened. I had a flash on my board. So If you want to talk about this, before you get new comments, let's talk about the second Texas Tech article. This one's by Sam Kahn Jr. I must admit, I don't know who Sam Kahn is, but it's a link to an article. So I want to give him credit for at least posting it on Twitter. Don't get mad at me by saying I don't know who he is. He might be a big guy. I just don't personally know him. If he's fun and you guys like him, I can get a hold of him. Maybe we can get him on the show. I just don't know who he is. This says Texas Tech hasn't won a Big 12 championship. They haven't won one. But it's spending roughly $25 million on its roster this year. Okay? 2025, $25 million. Ohio State, I think this might be a typo. I believe it was reported Ohio State spent 30 to 35 million last year. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I thought it was 30 to 35. Regardless, it's a lot of money. 25 million this year, I think, is probably going to be top 20 in roster. If they're not, I thought they were spending 40 million. So I'm not sure where the 25. Anyway, a lot of money. Okay, the point is spending a lot of money for a team that's never won the Big 12. Inside Texas Tech's open checkbook and the school's quest to rule the Big 12. I'm not going to go through the article. You guys can read. You're all pretty smart. What I will say about Texas Tech is they are spending money now for the big migration in 2029, 30, 31. The next phase of consolidation. That's where they're at right now. So Texas Tech, I gave you the first quote. I gave you the second quote. That's where we're at with Texas Tech. They're spending money. Is your school spending the money it needs to be relevant? I have no idea. I don't know your school, but I would say this: if you're not 25 million, honestly, so that's going to be an all-encompassing number. So let's do some truth in advertising. 25 million includes the around 70 to 80% that schools are paying of the 20.5 million that each school can pay directly to players. Then you add on top of that another additional whatever. Oh, that's it. That's what he's talking about. Okay, now I got it. So they're saying they're going to spend the 17 or 18, whatever that amount is, from the revenue share, and then on top of that, they're going to spend 25 million. Okay, now it all comes through. Completed the circle. I did that story all right now in front of you. So they're going to spend on top of whatever they're getting for revenue share, an additional 25 million to put a team together to win. Is that enough? Oh, look at that. There it is. I love when people do. You guys are awesome. So who is that? Who was it that was talking about the Fox One? I'm going to grab that link. So here's the link. This is fantastic. I learned something today. The Fox One, the premium channel. Thank you so much. I will be talking to Bob Thompson about this. Somehow this slipped through my reality. I'm not sure how. We'll get to that in a second. I just completely lost because that's an amazing story. I will have to read that. If you're not spending that amount of money, and let's say 25 million is the top, that is more. If you're not counting, now it's all coming back to me. So if you're not counting the money that comes from Roston from the revenue share, Ohio State spent 35-40 million last year. I think that's what the number is. So they're saying just in NIL they're spending roughly 25 million, and that would be less than whatever Ohio State's. I figured it out. It all comes to close. So at the bottom, at the end of the day, what we're really saying here is that the money needs to come to build your program up. And if you're a program that doesn't have the money, simply cannot compete, they will eventually fall off like slough. I don't think that'll happen in 29, 30, 31. Because the ACC still has these convulsions where they're trying to keep that autonomous status. And I do believe they'll probably stay autonomous in some way come 29, 30, 31. But their contract doesn't run out until 2036. And at 2036 now, unless they all buy their way out of the current ACC deal, and I don't think Wake Forest and Boston College, for instance, are going to do that because they are SMU. Well, they're not getting paid anything anyway. Or Cal, Stanford, they might end up on a Big Ten bus. But the schools that want to be there, they're not going to walk away from what they already have contracts for. So they're going to backfill with Pac-12 and ACC or AAC schools. But that doesn't mean they're going to be able to compete on the NIL front. And that's the bottom line: is Texas Tech, BYU, Miami. I will throw SMU in there. Schools that don't have P2 access today, they're trying to get on the radar to say we're next level. We're going to spend whatever we need to stay relevant, and we're going to win. Hopefully, they're going to win. 801-899-6203. Please call in. I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to me, as it were. All right. Please follow me on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. I'm going to be going back to reading comments and questions. Actually, really quick, let's share this tab. All right. Let me bring this up so everybody can have access to this link. Here's the Fox One premium product, the $20 deal that was just queued a little bit ago. This is actually the article. It says Fox One streaming service to launch ahead of NFL season in August 21st at $20 a month. So how does that work? I'll have to read the article unless somebody's read the article and can tell me, how does this work with the NFL Network stuff? If you pay for this, does that mean you get all the NFL games each week that would be on Fox? Because that would sort of undercut their Cadillac product, that is the NFL Net, not the NFL Network, but the weekly NFL. I don't even know what that channel's called anymore because ESPN bought whatever. I don't know. So that's a question. If anybody knows how that works, please in the comments. I'm happy to bring up your comments if you don't want to call in. But that's the story. So I posted the link. You guys can go out and do your own work on that. Appreciate getting the link though. Thank you so much for getting the link to me. All right, let's do that. Let's go back here. And oh no. I just closed the wrong window. There we go. Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's get to more comments or questions. 801-899-6203. Call in right now and let's talk. Let's go. Working back through comments. Let's see. I'm going to try to grab the most relevant. Go Black 45. Everybody knows Go Black 45 is the greatest name in social media posting. I tell you what, KU gets the first ticket out by 2030, maybe. Texas Tech, West Virginia, Kansas State won't get the golden ticket again until 2036, 2040 if the P2 expands to 24. Definitely could happen. Definitely could happen, Go Black. I think there are more schools. I think it is more likely that there isn't realignment, which is why I'm saying consolidation. It is more likely that we get a division that is just football than it is we go to a very exclusionary 40 or 48 team Super League. I don't think that happens. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. You don't have to agree with me. I mean, that's where I've been with it for a while. Thank you so much. It's great to see you, Go Black 45. Let's see here. You guys going at it. I love to see that. Let's see. Steel Austin, Texas A&M spent a lot on their roster as well and didn't work out. Texas Tech hasn't done anything before, and throwing money around doesn't likely change that. Yeah, I guess prove it when you see. I mean, see it when you prove it, right? I personally think this one's a little bit different. I think Joey McGuire is good enough to change their stars. I think Texas A&M has been run atrociously, and their record outside of Manziel for the last 30 years has proven that. Every year they're given the keys to the kingdom, and every year they underperform. So we'll see. I think Texas Tech has every opportunity to be successful, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove to the world that it doesn't work. That's what I'm going to say. Good point, though, Steele. Tempest, another member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, but Rock and Rant joining the military is a total different beast than someone who's 18 being paid millions, though I know it happens like here on YouTube. Man, I wish. I'd love millions. I would love that. That would be great. Let's see here. Shooter Tex, good to see you. It's been a minute since we've had Baylor in the house. Love having Baylor in here. You guys should be good this year. You're on my dark horse list to win the whole thing this year. Has Tech ever won any conference championships? Did they win the Southwest Conference? If so, it must have been back in the 50s or something. Again, very, very, very possible. MBM. So here we are. Now we're having the Big 12 guys snipe at each other. That wasn't the purpose of. I think there's a lot of Big 12 schools that could be promoted. I don't think one needs to be promoted over the other, but I understand. Oklahoma State has something to prove. Tech is not getting into the P2 bomber. Okay. Well, I'll let you argue with them about that. Let's see. Kenneth Maynard says if Texas Tech can't win in the Big 12 with an open checkbook, they need to drop down to FCS. And people are being being hard on Texas Tech right now. John Dry says Arizona broke. That they are broke, and yet they continue to debt spend. John, that's what's crazy. Arizona and Arizona State, got 32 million and 51 million and change between them to be bailed out because of the way that they were misrun under the Pac-12 leadership. That's the thing. BYU doesn't have the church does not underwrite BYU football, no matter what people say. Get this going here. Who is that? I'm sorry, I didn't. Oh, Joe. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to start saying that. I apologize. What's up? Right. Uh-huh. But you're not going to get out of region games. I live in Utah. My Seahawks are in Seattle. I can't cheat and do that, right? Sunday Ticket is the name. That's right. I spaced that. They are, yeah, I believe they are. I believe they are on. I think they were YouTube last year, if I remember right. But that's yes. I'm absolutely positive that has happened. Yes. Right. And Netflix is where it's at, brother. Netflix is where it's at. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's right, Columbia House. Hey, look, if you weren't a kid that signed up for the World War II 12 book album set and you only paid for one and then they came after you for for not paying for anything. I don't know what you did. I think I have like three of the Old West ones, a couple of the World War II ones. Anyway. Yeah, that's right. Or your encyclopedia is the same thing. Anyway, so go ahead. Get to your idea. I'm sorry. Uh-huh. Well, it also counted for SMU. SMU, technically, you could have argued that BYU could have gotten that slot. But yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah, if you all four of them. Yep. Clemson and SMU. Clemson and SMU were in that championship game. Miami got screwed. When arguably you could have said Miami was the better team of the three, but they didn't play. So, that's what screwed up. They need to go to divisions. They need to break these things out into groups so that you can not have so much ties. It except for the Big 12 didn't get that second spot. Indiana got in. Yep. Yeah. Ward Manuel was a putt. He was a complete jackass. He's the one who said the eye test garbage. He said this thing about losers in the conference playoffs won't be penalized, and yet the Big 12 didn't get a second team in. So it was all a bunch of crap. They're going to do whatever they can to get their schools in, and the Big 12 is going to be the first one screwed, and then the ACC is going to be the second one. Right? Yes. Yeah. I think everybody had that premonition in real time. I think everybody had that idea. Watching in real time, I think everybody knew that was gonna end up that way. I just think they wanted Texas. They just wanted Texas to move on. I don't think it didn't matter if it was Arizona State. Any team that would have been playing against that Texas team, I think, would have gotten the same call against them. Right. Yeah.
Who was that? Buff. The what was it? The Giants. You never know,
What?
and and drive their team to victory. And then the Florida State was so talented. I mean, they had bursts on the defensive end that they could have won it defensively. They might have not blown out anyone that they were going to play. They might have had a shot, but I don't know. For me, it was just kind of like viewership. They're like, which team is going to pull more eyeballs, and let's just make sure that they advance.
Right. Just so
Like
you
the beauty
know,
contest.
Jose, I screwed it up, and you and I are having a conversation. They can hear me, but they haven't been hearing you this whole time. So I
Oh, no.
apologize. This has been a fantastic call. You've been awesome. We need to do this again.
Thank you. Absolutely, Bomber. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
You bet.
Right on.
Anytime.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, we'll see you later. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. This is now what, 4 times I've done this show, and this has happened to me 3. I completely apologize. It's my fault. Just so you know, Jose, which is Joe Z, isn't that's what I've been saying forever. It's Jose, so everybody knows going forward. And that was one of the best calls I've ever had, which is really unfortunate because I didn't realize that you guys weren't hearing them. So I take responsibility for that. That was my fault. He's not on. He hung up, Daniel. You can't hear me. I'm reading your comments. You can't hear me now? Because Joe or Jose, sorry, disconnected. Can you guys hear me? Bob Swinger's mad at me. I'm sorry. There we go. I'm sorry, everybody. Again, it was my fault. Stormy Cyclones, good to see you tonight. Hello, everyone. Just got home. What did I miss? Well, you just missed the end of a fantastic call from Jose. He's going to have to call back because that was one of the best calls I've ever had. And I could not be more apologetic about that. Don't leave me, Bob. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know how many people I lost there. You guys we were doing awesome, and then I screwed up, and I hate that because that was a fantastic call. You did miss Jose. Rob Ellen in the house. Good to see you, Rob. Thanks for checking in. Better late than never, brother. I've got it working again, guys. So if you call in now, everybody will hear. I did miss a call. I'm not sure who that call was. Please call back, and I'll get you on. You just happen to be right behind Jose. So I missed you, but call back now and let's talk. I'll talk about whatever you guys want to. Let's see here. See John checking in saying no worries. Jose's a USC fan. Ain't nobody got time for that. Hey, I think Jose's been a fan for a while.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger. Can everybody hear Evil Badger now? Put up your hand if you can hear Evil Badger. How we doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
So what?
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, of course, always.
I'm about the whole situation with the Big 12 and Big 10 squabble right now. Just that John Kurtz is even bashing the Big 10 because of what he believes is the least favorable option is what the Big 10 is pushing. The 4-4-2-2-1-3,
Right.
which I know is probably dead, but would you rather have a guaranteed second team or a one team for 5 years and maybe get a second team once every 5 years?
I don't know.
And
I don't understand why John. I haven't talked to John. We're friends. I haven't talked to him about the whole 4-4-2-2, and being against that whole structure and everything. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. I'm not sure that's what he's intending for people to think that he's coming after the Big Ten. In my opinion, nobody in the Big 12 should be coming for anybody. We should just be taking care of ourselves.
I mean, he's quoting Feinbaum and liking his comment.
Yeah.
Towards the Big Ten, and I'm like, are you serious?
Well, you know how I feel about that messaging. I've never been happy with Brett Yormark going out and saying what's best for college football and 5'11" or the moon. Just some of these comments have just been ridiculous in my opinion. But it is what it is. They don't listen to me.
All I have to say is, what they did to Florida State a couple years ago I can guarantee it's going to happen to somebody this year.
Yes, more than likely. Yeah, more than likely a Big 12 team. Yeah. I think at 11-2, Big 12 loser of a championship game that should get in probably won't get in this year. That's how bad I think it's going to be for the Big 12. But we'll see. Maybe we have 3 undefeated teams.
In the past, Stakey has said that he wouldn't mind having as many SEC teams as they can get in
Right.
the playoff.
Well, he wants
And that
16 SEC teams in playoff.
Yeah, basically he wants. And I said this to Greg at PATC. 14 out of 16 basketball teams, and what do you think they're going to do with a football playoff?
When it goes to 16 teams, I think he's going to want 7 in every year.
Maybe 8.
It's whatever the number is. It's way too many. Let's quit talking about that though. Tell me, how is Wisconsin going to be this year? Are you guys going to compete?
Well, I'm saying 3-9, 4-8.
Oh wow, really?
But they go to Alabama.
Oh geez.
Week 1 they play Miami, Ohio. That's not a gimme. And if they lose that game or the one against Middle Tennessee State, I think Fickle is gone after the second game of the season. If they lose either one of them games right there.
Yeah.
Then you got Alabama, and then you got to play Maryland, then you got to go to Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, and then Minnesota at the end of the season.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
That's a tough schedule. Yeah, that's a tough schedule. And
I told Greg this afternoon that even if the Badgers only won one game, I want it to be against Minnesota.
There you go. Just go out and get the rivalry back. That's what matters.
Uh-huh.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Ryan.
Right.
I appreciate your super chat, and thanks for being a member, brother.
All right. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, always.
All right, bye.
Always. Bye. All right. Ryan Willie in the house gave me a $5 super chat to start the show and then calls in. And I really appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you so much. Let me get to a few comments here that I got marked. So obviously I'm working backwards through these. So I wanted to get to this one first. Mormons may not be great with technology, but they are very best at apologizing. I don't call it apologizing, Shooter TX. I call it taking responsibility. So you can make fun if you want, but I do believe that it's important to take responsibility. So I don't really look at it like apologizing, but it is a funny meme. John Dry says Texas Tech is also coming after the Natties in all men's and women's sports. Hey, look, basketball, softball, football, they are coming to play in everything. I think that might be a mistake. The softball thing makes sense. There's an affinity there. Basketball has been more recent. I think there's an opportunity there. I think they ought to stick to those three, though. Basketball, football, and softball. If I was running Texas Tech, because there's only so much money, even for an oil-found school like Texas Tech. Eventually, the money is going to run out. So if you're going to follow through with what your AD or your general manager said, and you're gonna be sniping players that aren't being paid what they're worth, you need that money. So you shouldn't be taking it. And I'm not saying you're gonna do this, but bowling, right? You shouldn't take on bowling. But that's true. They absolutely are. Big Lubbock says the Big 12 is better off with a divided SEC Big 10, not a Super 2, leaving the Big 12 out of their schedule. I don't disagree with that, Big Lubbock, but I think that is revisionist history. I know what John Kurtz has said, and I don't want to read in or put words in his mouth. To me, the fact that they end up fighting over this 8-9 versus 4-4-2-2 argument, I don't think that's because the Big 12 and Brett Yormark came up with it. I know people want to say Brett Yormark was playing 8D chess or something like that. I think that was a happenstance that just came around that the Big 12 likes. A nice remainder of the argument, but I don't think that was the plan. I think the idea is to do whatever they can to keep the Big 12 shoehorned in. Foot in the door. And between the two, at least the Big 12 has multiple options so they can stay shoe in the door. The ACC doesn't have the same leverage because they're ESPN owned as well. So anyway, I don't know. I do believe that was a happy accident, to put it another way. Great to see you, Lubbock. Thank you so much for being here. Devil Frog says the Big 10 fans wants the Big 12 and ACC to pay their same amount for the House settlement, but reduce their postseason access by 33 to 50%. Their math isn't mathing. Devil Frog, you are not wrong. And yet, the ACC and the Big 12 gave them the power last year. That math wasn't mathing last year. I was way pissed about that last year. This year, I'm like, they did it to themselves. The Big 12 gave this away last year. Now we're going to bitch and moan about it? Looking back is revisionist history, and I don't think it works. At least it doesn't work for me. You want to be upset about it? That is cool. Obviously, Big 12 has to go out and fight for what they can get, but I don't think it just doesn't make any sense to me. You bitch and moan about it after you've already given away. Whatever. Big 12 screwed this last year. Just this year now they want to go back and undo their mistake. And the Big 10 and the SEC, if you were the Big 10 of the SEC, if the Big 12 was the Big 10 of the SEC, would they want to give up power to, say, the ACC? Of course not. So to now complain over something that you already voted for, I just think that's pansy. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's why people get upset with me, I think. It's because I don't like it. And that's cool. I know I'm a minority in the Big 12, and I have no problem with that. I don't talk about 4-4-2-2 or this other stuff very often anymore because I think the fight's done. Now it's just going to be, can they settle before December, or does that timeline get pushed to the spring of next year? Which could happen. Big Lubbock says, Bomber, quit hiring those Ute grads as your producers. Look, guys, I am so sorry. Next time, anyway, I will keep trying to do better. How about that? Let's get to some more live comments. We're about 15 minutes away from shutting down. If you want your comment to be read at this point, it'll have to be a super chat because I've already got the comments that I'm going to read are already flagged at this point. So make it a super chat, and I'll try to get it in, or I will get your super chats in. Consider becoming a new member of the College Football Mafia family. That would be awesome. We all love new members, and we're kicking off as we go into this next season. We're going to have a bunch of member-only stuff that would pay off to be a member. So now's a good time to sign up. Hit the $ next to the comment box. Pick membership, I think is what it says. Pick the membership tier, or go on the College Football Mafia page on YouTube, hit the join button right in the middle of the screen, and it'll walk you through becoming a new member. Or you can gift memberships the same way. Those are always cool. I do believe in karma. You will get good back if you buy somebody else a membership. Is there anything else? Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. There's 125 people now watching on YouTube. all of you better be subscribed. If you're not, I'm disappointed. For those people watching on X, there's roughly 60 of you or so. Do me a favor, you can keep watching on X. That's cool. On another page, jump over to YouTube, College Football Mafia, hit the subscribe button. It's free. And consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. We do appreciate you. Let's see here. Let's jump in the middle of some of these comments. I don't even know where to start. There's so many good ones in here. I'm glad everybody appreciated the conversation that we were having before. 801-899-6203. The phone lines are still open. I'd appreciate if you want to call in. I'll definitely take your call. Stormy Cyclone, we time December 1st is the deadline for a reconfigured CFP. I thought it was December 3rd, but either way, yeah, it's that first week of December. What they can do, though, since we haven't talked about the governance. I wasn't going to get to time to do that tonight. I might do a special on Thursday about the governance that just came out. That is a big deal. The reshuffled governance, the controls, who makes the rules, rule enforcement, that's all been taken over by the A4. They have 65% of the voting interest in that, meaning the other 35%, the G6 and any of the other conferences, not much they can do to stop. That's not to say that the A4 will steamroll rules, but there's nothing to stop them to institute rules if they really want to put them in place. And that's pretty much that was the last step to further consolidation, potential super league talk again. But they could push this timeline from December. They make the rules. They can shift it into the spring of next year if they want to, Stormy. They're the one. They have a contract with themselves in ESPN, so they can kick that down the road anytime if they really want to. Ryan Willie gifting 5 freaking memberships. Woohoo! I love it. Ryan Willie gifting 5 new memberships. And you know what? I forgot to open up my freaking window. Does anybody, if you've gotten a new membership, make sure you thank Ryan Willie for giving it to you. I forgot to open up my YouTube page, so I can't say who got the memberships. But if somebody wants to type out those names in the comments, I definitely will read them. Yeah, that's a way we're going to have to go because I didn't have the window open. But 5 new members, make sure you thank Ryan for those 5 or free memberships. Consider paying somebody else forward and getting another membership for somebody else. You got one for free. Maybe give one for free to somebody else. Karma is real in the world. I live by that every day, like real. I believe in karma. And if you've done a good thing, you will get a good thing back. And I know for a fact Ryan Willie has been paid back spades for all the free gifts that he's given out to new members. If somebody wants to post those names so I can read them, I would really appreciate it. Just quickly put the new members in the comment section and I'll read them so to make sure that they get called out and appreciated. Jose says Evil Badger is a legend. He is a legend. If you're new around here, follow Evil Badger when he pops on because dude knows what he's talking about. He talks about Big Ten, talks CFP. He definitely covers the University of Wisconsin, and he's one of the most valuable members of the College Football Mafia family. Tempest doing the work of the Lord. Appreciate you, Tempest. Braska Rascal. Trent Brown, my brother's namesake. VC Knoll. Where you been, Vince? It's been a minute. Good to see you. Suzanne, is it Bajur? Suzanne Bajur. I hope I get that right. And Rec Talk. What's up, Rec Talk? I haven't been on your show for a minute, brother. Where's my invite? Let's go. I want to talk Georgia Tech. I actually need to get you on. We're going to be doing our ACC breakdown probably next week. SEC, ACC, maybe. I'd love to have you on that show. So if you're open to that, I will. I'd love to have you on. I'm going to try to have Rock on, maybe a couple other ACC guys. But I'd love to have you on. I'll let you know kind of what schedule times that might be next week. But it's great to see you. Thank you for watching. And a shout out one more time for Tempest for saying Braska Rascal, Trent Brown, VC Knoll, Suzanne Bajur, and Rec Talk. In fact, VC Knoll, Vince, you can come on my ACC show. We could have Georgia Tech, Miami, Florida State all on the same page. That could be fun, actually. I'd love that. Tempest says, and God bless. Absolutely, Tempest. God bless. There's no doubt about it. Let's see here. Scroll down. Stormy Cyclone says, I think Georgia Tech would be great at if available. UCF already in area. Are we? I'm going to guess we're talking about the Big 12 when the ACC changes. I think Georgia Tech's a fantastic ad for the Big 12 if they're there. We'll have to see. There's all this talk about the ACC is going to reform with Notre Dame. Absolutely, probably will. I'm going to be on record and say, yeah, the ACC is going to be rebuilding. At what valuation? That's the question. That's the question I asked Jim Williams. I need to get him on a show to talk about that. I'm not sure he'll talk valuation because he doesn't normally get into the weeds like that. But the ACC rebuild after the big brands leave. Let's say 100% that happens. What's the valuation? I don't care if Notre Dame is going to prop you up or not. I don't see a world that you make more money than the Big 12 will make in the next media deal. I don't see it. And because of that, I think the Big 12 can sell to Virginia Tech, to Louisville, to Georgia Tech if they're on the table, to join the Big 12, make more money, be in a more stable environment. Definitely still A4, A3, whatever that new number goes to. Don't have to worry about realignment anymore, and you can just play football. That's what Brett Yormark and the Big 12 are going to be selling. And I think the project has legs. So argue with the wall if you think I'm talking about anything else, because I'm not. Joe Dry says, that Rec Talk, do you think Georgia Tech will be in the Big 12? Okay. So that's where that question comes from. Tempest says, hit the like and subscribe button. It's free to do. Thank you so much again, Tempest. Member for 17 months. Let's clap out. Tempest, thank you so much for all you do, Tempest, and putting everybody's names in there. I really, really appreciate that extra work. Thank you. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Daniel Gygax doing our countdown. We are 170 subs away from 5,000. Okay. You may hate me. You may not enjoy the show. I don't care who you are. If you're watching on X or you're watching right now on YouTube, just do me a solid and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Get me to a point where I don't have to say this every freaking show, because I want to get to 5,000 by the end of the summer, and this is the way to do it. So please hit the subscribe button or jump over from X and like and subscribe. Big 12 Mafia. Sorry, College Football Mafia. That was a College Football Mafia. And join over. I'd love to have you. Love to have you as a subscriber. Follow me on Twitter and all that fun stuff. Thanks, Daniel, for saying that. More great comments. Devil Frog, revisionist pansies and Big Ten bootlickers want to pretend the House settlement changed nothing. Excuse me. But the fact remains, the ruling made the P4 equals from a legal libel perspective. Okay. Is anybody arguing against that? I don't think I'm not being revisionist. I know what the A4 settlement or the House settlement did, but that's talking about for back damages, Devil Frog. That has nothing to do with the governance and the way that the college football playoff breakdown. That's a different contract. We're talking about multiple different things. So I've never said anything about the House settlement not being equal for everything you're saying there. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm either talking about the governance, which is 65%, or the 64% of the CFP currently owned. Sorry, 68% of the CFP currently owned by the SEC and the Big Ten. Not by the A4, just by those two conferences. That's why the CFP is such a big deal. So all three of those things should be measured, by the way. The House settlement should have its own contract. The CFP negotiation should, and the governance. We can all look forward to a future where all three of them are merged together. I don't know if or when that can happen, but that would be great if we could get there. Stormy Cyclone, $5 super chat comes in the door last and given $5 to the party. I appreciate you, Stormy. Thank you so much for being a member of the College Football Mafia. Wishing all Big 12 teams the best in the non-conference schedule. Yep, I am all Big 12 in the non-con. That even means Utah with UCLA. I know it's hard to say, but yeah, I want Utah to win. We need to win all of our non-con games. And this year, I must say, there's not a lot of great non-con games, unfortunately, for the Big 12. I don't know how that happened this year, but it's not where I want it to be. That's all I can say. Jason Spangler checking in. Good to see you, Jason. I know I saw you earlier. Might not be the same, but it's precedence. Okay. You're right. Every one of those contracts is setting precedence. There's no doubt. Time will tell where it all means, right? Where it all meets. Timothy Green, great show, my friend. And then there's a bunch of emojis. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate you. It's not too late, everybody. You can call in right now, 801-899-6203 if you want to get your comment in. I'll stick around for as many people as want to call in live, or I'm going to wait another 90 seconds, so I'll probably sign off, just so everybody knows. Everybody's out in the open, and nobody's going to be surprised. Let's see here. I already did that one. I did all those. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Nope, I got that one. I got that one. Thanks again, Ryan. So much, Ryan. I really, really appreciate your loyalty and your super chats. You've been a great friend to the show. There's Daniel telling me. Unfortunately, my cell phone was ringing. I'm looking here. People are calling me, telling me the audio's not working, and I didn't even notice. So that's on me. Let's see here. Jason says, yo, Tempest, I've been looking for you. Have you ever run into these nonsense NPCs called the Drifters? They have obliterated my best ship. Oh, you guys are talking about video games. I used to be a video game guy. Nothing wrong with that. Is there anything else that's new? Tempest says he's sorry I'm not a PG comedian. I'm not sure who we're talking about there. There was a bunch of comments I missed when I was doing that fantastic interview. Let's see. Anytime people are ripping on Utah, that's a good thing. Keep that going. Yeah. Let's see here. Here we go. Line Ted. Line Ted, good to see you, brother. I'm sorry I missed you and didn't shout you out during my call with Jose. Line Ted says if CBS and NBC would simulcast their main games on Paramount Plus and Peacock, big fans could just get Fox One and those two streaming services and pay less than half the cost of a live TV package. Doesn't everybody now know that you don't have to do a live TV package anymore? You can do everything direct or just get a digital antenna. You can watch everything like you could have back in the UHF days. Just get a digital antenna and don't pay for anything but the services for the conferences you have. You don't have to. You could buy Peacock. You could buy. It's still cheaper to buy Peacock, buy Fox One, buy all these deals, rather than paying $130 for a media package from Xfinity. That's still cheaper to buy, a la carte. Maybe one day, though, it's going to get ugly. We're really close to Armageddon, though, because we're going to potentially add Apple to the mix. We're going to potentially add Amazon to the mix, Netflix to the mix in the next 5-6 years, media contracts. And that's where it gets dicey. That's where it gets dicey. It's great to see you, though, Illini Ted. Thank you so much. All right. Nobody else. Please don't bring back ACC divisions. That's fantastic. Let's see. Rob, it's great to see you. Secret agent representing Texas Tech. I love Texas Tech. Name the callers. This caller is better than you guys. Yeah, I screwed that up. I don't mind taking responsibility. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Catch us tomorrow night. We're doing our SEC preview 2025. Everybody be around for that. It should be a lot of fun. 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night, right here on the College Football Mafia page or network, I should say. one last call for you guys to follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, jump over from X to YouTube, College Football Mafia, and hit that subscribe button. Everybody else, do the work. I'm out there working for you. If you guys have stuff you want to share with me, send me DMs on Twitter. I'm happy to take those in. I love to talk offline. And if you're one of these guys, people have mentioned it, and maybe they think I'm ignoring them, and I'm not. I don't think there's been one person that's wanted to volunteer to join the show that I turned down. There's only one person that I've ever banned, so that's not it. So if you want to join the show, if you're like some of the people have talked about possibly coming on, send me a DM. Let's set it up. I'm happy to do a show with you. It's easy to do. Easy to do. Everybody else, have a great evening, and I will see you here tomorrow night, okay? Thanks so much, everybody. Stay out of trouble, and we will say peace. We'll say peace out.